This isn't just a normal mock draft. We're going to mock draft. We're going to do another rookie mock draft. And my mock draft this time is a little bit different than last time, even a week later, because everything ebbs and flows. We stay liquid. We stay loose. We don't commit to anything. We're ever flowing. And today, we're going to do something really unique. As I wear my Ashton Jeanty pixelated shirt, you walk up to somebody at a work function. You go, "Who's this?" And they go, "I don't know." And you go, "You don't know ball. You don't know ball." Hit that shop button in the YouTube store there. Just on my YouTube page, hit shop. You can buy it right now. We're breaking down landing spots. Where does Hampton rank against maybe Trey Henderson if they're in different landing spots? And what if we switch their landing spots? How does it change the ranking in the mock draft? We're not just going to look at the mock draft one way. We're looking at it based on landing spot, and then we're going to blender up the landing spots and look at it again. The Fantasy Football Show. Live whenever news breaks show. Mock drafting show. Doing it live show begins right now. File on in. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new, please.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. Joel's in here. Cheesehead's in here. Human Ziggy's in here. Nico's in here. Daniel's in here. Lupo. Frank is in the building. Hernandez, did you get my super chat answer the other day? I said I loved your trade. Just make sure I got to it late. Sorry. Travis is in the building. Mod Squad in the house. Black Beard. Who else is in here? Space Ricky. Sick Nasty. Vampy. Who else is in the building? DeBalt. Okay, let's break down. This is the rookie consensus data. So just before we get into the mock draft, Jeanty, Hampton, Tet McMillan, Henderson, Hunter, Egbuka, Warren, Luther Burden, Judkins. This is not my ranking. I'm going to mock draft in a second. This is the consensus data. This is where the industry is average-wise on these guys. I'm nowhere. I'm totally different than this crew right here. All right, let's get to it. Mock draft numero, I don't know, 3. I think this is the third one roughly, but we're going to do this one in different ways than we've ever done them before. I will say that no matter the landing spot, Jeanty ain't going anywhere. I don't care if he lands in the CFL. He's going 1.1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And his cost of entry is so high at the top of this round, top 10, but top of round 1, he's going somewhere where he's getting fed. Jeanty going to the Raiders. That's what he's penciled in as. Now, this leapfrog spot, we call it the Jaguars 5, where someone could leapfrog Pete Carroll and the Raiders. This could be the Broncos. I really think the Broncos. It could be the Bears. The Bears probably want Jeanty more than anybody. You know how I know that? Because Ben Johnson telegraphed it when he fixed what he believes to have fixed the offensive line in its entirety. He basically said, we have no D-line needs. We have no offensive line needs. Let's go in and draft our RB. And then Jeanty's value started to rise. He took his shirt off, went out and did some workouts in front of everybody. And everybody's enamored by this kid, Jeanty. Everybody wants him now. Ben Johnson's hopes and dreams of getting him at 10 are now gone. He's either taken Hampton, and you can say I'm wrong, I don't care. They're either taking Hampton or they're moving up to 5 to try and get Jeanty. The Broncos are going to want to do the same thing. They're going to want to go to 5 to get Jeanty. No one can do it now, because if you did do that, you still run the risk of in the 11th hour the Giants or the Browns getting itchy for Jeanty. And so you got to do this on the clock, or you got to do it when you're really comfortable, a day ahead, whatever. You also got to do it if there's competition. So if the Bears know that the Broncos are trying to get this, they might jump the gun and do it now. But traditionally, you're going to see these teams say, well, let's wait until number 5's on the clock so we know we're getting Jeanty. Otherwise, we could be blowing our load early and not getting Jeanty, and it's going to be a big mess. So no matter what the landing spot is, I can move on from this. Jeanty's the number 1 overall player in rookie drafts. I don't care if this is Superflex. We'll cover Superflex too. This is not Superflex. This is 1 QB, but I'll reference Superflex the entire way. In fact, let me just get it out of the way. Let me make you really upset right now if you're a traditional mock draft connoisseur. I'm not putting a quarterback in my top 12. I feel like I forced it last time to appease the masses. No more. No more. No quarterback is getting drafted in the top 12, in my opinion, or should be. I like Cam Ward. I like Shedeur. I love Milroe. But I'm not taking a quarterback. This is too talented of a running back class. You've got 2 tight ends you're looking at. You've got potentially 4, 5, 6 wide receivers you're going to be toying around with. Who has time for the mediocre quarterback class, which could produce 1 good player, I admit, but I'm not taking a quarterback when I can grab a Tootin or grab a potential, good God, even like Caleb Johnson, who I don't even love all that much. I'm taking over a quarterback unless I'm in dire need. Now, in a 2 QB super flex format, okay, 2 QB means mandatory quarterback 2. Superflex means it's optional. I would move the quarterbacks up, but how high? 7, 8? Would Cam Ward be 7 maybe? Maybe 7 or 8? I think Shedeur could be 8 or 9 or 10. Milroe could be 11 or 12 or 13. That's it. Superflex alteration complete. I don't need to talk about Superflex at all. That is it. If this is Superflex, move him into this territory here. That's it. I'm not moving a quarterback because I drafted Shiat at quarterback the year prior or in the inaugural draft, or I screwed up and made a big mistake and I got no QBs. That's not my problem. I'll help you fix it. But I'm not going to shove a quarterback at 2 or 3 because you botched drafting quarterback. Quarterbacks don't belong in Superflex at 1, 2, 3, 4, probably even 5 in a rookie mock draft. Sorry about that. Doesn't bode well with your line of thinking. That's okay. But I'm not taking a quarterback in the top 5. I don't care if it's Superflex. And in a 1 QB, they're not in it. They're not in the top 12. Are they close? 13, 14? Sure. But I'm not taking a QB. I'm not doing it. Jeanty, best running back prospect to come out of college since Barry Sanders. You can do whatever you want with that information. I'm tired of trying to convince people that want to crap on him when this man's yards after contact would have finished first in the nation if it wasn't for Jeanty's total yards finishing first in the nation. Does that compute? This guy would have finished number 1 in the nation in yards after, in rushing yards, just using his yards after contact. The only person to beat him is himself. This guy is a marvel. Never ran for under 100 yards last year. Number 1 in the nation in yards after contact per attempt. Number 1 in the nation in forced missed tackles per carry. 49 more than second place. Second in the nation in yards per carry. Only behind Trey Henderson, who had 7.1. He had 7. This is a monster. This is a 2,600 yard, 29 rushing touchdown monster. In 1 year, this man had 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns rushing. Almost, he was attacking Barry Sanders' record. And he is one of the best receiving backs in the class. The number 1 receiving back in the class, arguably. And if you don't believe that to be true, you don't know what you're talking about, because this man pulled in 569 yards and 5 touchdowns right here. Right here. 569 and 5 TDs. And 43 receptions in his middle year here in 2023. Marvel. Number 1. Potential number 1 rookie. Potential number 1 overall running back in Dynasty Fantasy Football. You heard me right. You're in a startup draft with veterans, Gibbs and Bijan and Jamar Chase are in the draft. You're drafting over from scratch. This guy deserves your consideration for the number 1 overall pick. So let's stop with the nonsense about, he's bad competition, Smitty. He didn't face that good a competition. That's hogwash. I don't buy it. Majority of everybody watching doesn't buy it. Jeanty's a lock. Landing spot don't matter. Doesn't matter at all. My number 2 overall player by quite a bit based on talent is Trey Henderson. That isn't changing. And landing spot could maybe alter that, I admit. But I don't think it will. Because I think this is the third graded running back in the class. He's got a first round grade. He slipped into round 1. You've got Hampton as a mid to maybe 10, 11, 12 overall, kind of early grade running back. You've got Jeanty, top 6 grade running back. You've got 3 running backs, 3 of them that are graded for the first round. Henderson is that third running back. Hampton is the number 2 consensus across the industry, but I'm not the consensus. I'm my own man. And if I say Henderson's 2, damn it, I'm going to will it to happen. He is so talented. He's the number 1. Look at me in my glasses when I tell you this. The number 1 pass protector in this draft class. Do you understand what that means? That means he's the most desirable player for a coach that wants a running back on the field for all 3 downs or 4 downs. He is the most desirable player in the entire draft class to be a 3-down back. You know what someone's going to tell you when you talk about Trey Henderson like that? They're going to say things like, Smitty, but he shared carries at Ohio State with Judkins. Why would he share carries with Judkins if he's such a monster, Smitty? Because they wanted to deploy a Detroit-style 1-2 punch. They wanted to run the hell out of the ball. And you should be thanking your lucky stars that this 5'10", 208, probably plays at 212 running back has less mileage on him than he should. You're talking about a guy that's never had over 156 carries in a single season, which is fantastic, not a negative. 7.1 yards per carry. Look at this. 7.1 yards per carry. 10 TDs. 11 TDs the season prior. 10-16. Oh, but look at Smitty. He's sharing carries. Why don't we go back to 2021 when he really wasn't? 12.48, 6.8 a carry, 15 rushing touchdowns, 4 receiving. That's 19 for those of you that know how to do the math. 312 receiving, 27 receptions. Look at this grand total of over 1,500 total yards and 19 touchdowns and 27 receptions. Don't tell me he's not an every down back just because he was utilized in a very smart way, in a way that actually helps us at the National Football League level. Best pass blocking back in the entire nation. Look at all of his fumbles. No, there aren't any fumbles. Guy doesn't let go of the ball. Ball security. You're telling me ball security on top of being the best pass blocking back in the draft. You're telling me that this is not the second most attractive running back in this draft class? I got a bridge to sell you. If you don't think NFL coaches like Sean Payton in Denver aren't drooling over being the best pass blocking running back to what? Protect Bo Nix? Imagine this man protecting Bo Nix on third.
Let him cook.
Best pass blocking running back in the draft class. That's my boy. Now, let's go over real quickly. If he lands in Denver, he stays at 2. He lands in Washington, he stays at 2, and I've got a smile on my face from ear to ear. My grin is so big, you don't even know where my smile begins or where it ends if he's in Washington. If he goes somewhere else, like, where's he going to go that's going to hurt his value as the number 2 running back? Houston, maybe because of Mixon being in the picture, that could be a year 1 hampering type situation. Maybe. Pittsburgh, he's sharing carries with Warren. Warren's not going away. I could see a world where if Hampton goes to Dallas at 12, and I'm going to go over Hampton's landing spots here a little bit as we try and what if this situation. If Hampton goes to Dallas at 12 and Henderson goes to the Texans at 25, 2025 rookie only value, Hampton's got an edge. No doubt about it. I'm not a moron. Okay. If let's say Hampton goes 12 to Dallas and Henderson goes to the Broncos, these are very, very amazing landing spots. And so my talent evaluation on Hendy being number 1 over or number 2 overall for running backs over Hampton at 3, it stays the same. If Hendy went to Denver and let's say Hampton went to Denver and Henderson went to Washington, they're both amazing landing spots. Henderson remains my number 2 ranked running back over Hampton, who will rank 3, respectably rank 3. It's a scenario where, okay, so Hampton to Chicago or Henderson to Dallas. Henderson. Hampton to Chicago, Henderson to Denver. Denver wins. Hampton wins. Steelers with Henderson. Hampton with the Bears. I'll probably go Henderson, but there's some cloudy, expectations, I think, in year 1. There could be. But this is a team that's going to want to run the ball a lot. He's a 3-down back. I don't think they take Henderson because Warren's a 3rd-down back. Warren's a guy they want to throw to. They want to get him more carries, but I believe they're going to draft more of a Judkins or a running back that's going to be the 1A to Jaylen Warren being the 1B. Jaylen Warren's going to be the complement, and I think that the Pittsburgh grabs a ground and pound replacing Najee Harris, which Henderson doesn't exactly fit the bill. He could do it, but he doesn't fit the bill. So I don't think Henderson's going 21. But Hampton to Chicago and Henderson to the Houston Texans, it's definitely not the most ideal situation in year 1 for Henderson, but he will eventually rise and thrive in Houston. So long term, I might be able to get behind Henderson over Hampton in Chicago. But for year 1, I'm not a moron. Okay, so that's kind of how this all plays out. I think walking in with this ranking here of Henderson, Hampton. Now, the true question would be, this is my ranking. The true question would be pretty obvious that Hampton's my number 3. Is there a way that someone like Hunter, who's my number 4 ranked player, or a later running back could leapfrog Hampton if he goes to Chicago, if the landing spot was ideal? I don't think so. I think that Hampton, because he's an RB, I'm a very RB-driven guy on draft day, especially when we're talking about a draft class of this magnitude in a special class. I don't know that I could put anybody above Hampton if he's in Chicago or in Dallas or in Denver or even Pittsburgh, because Hampton would fit the Pittsburgh mold that I was talking about, where Warren's the complement and Hampton's the between the tackles, Najee Harris type running back. If Hampton went somewhere cloudier, and I don't even know what that would be, because the landing spots for Hampton just seem to be ideal. Like, he's going to at least get Chicago or Dallas or Denver. I don't see another scenario where he'd go anywhere. I don't. Unless Miami Mike does something wild, which I don't think he'll do. So Hampton's going to a very good location. Hampton's almost the safest running back in a way, him and Jeanty, because their landing spots are gold, no matter what. I think Chicago is the lesser of the 3 between Dallas, Chicago, and Denver. Or I would say, let me put it this way. Chicago is the last ranked situation I want of the good ones. So I would want Dallas and probably Washington and Denver, and then Pittsburgh and Chicago kind of tied. But those are all the great landing spots. I just rank them that way. There's really no scenario that Hampton falls out of the top 3 for me. Although if Hunter goes somewhere amazing, like let's say he goes to Cleveland, okay, at 2, which I think is the most likely scenario. And let's say the Cleveland Browns draft Milroe in round 2. Or let's say the Cleveland Browns trade back into the 2022 18 range and they draft Shedeur Sanders and they pair Shedeur with Hunter, which is something I've whispered about for a while. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I know how to make the Deshaun Watson drama go away. Even if he's still on roster and they got to cut him next year and take a massive cap hit, I know how to fix it. I know how the fan base won't even care. When that day comes, they'll say bye. They won't make fun of their team. Nobody's going to make fun of the Browns, just like nobody made fun of the Niners when Purdy rose up from nowhere, from the last pick in the draft, and became something special to the Niners organization. No one cared about the wasted allocation of resources on Trey Lance. Nobody spoke about it. Nobody does speak about it because they made up for it. If the Browns can make up for it by bringing in Milroe or trading back into round 1 after they draft Hunter at 2, pairing Hunter with Shedeur Sanders, they're selling tickets. They're making up for everything. If that happens, then maybe I'm looking at this situation a little bit different. I could see myself at that point in time, I could see myself maybe saying Hunter could rise into this 3 spot if it's PPR, and I love this kid so much. But at the end of the day, let's cement him into 4. And I don't know that even without a quarterback, he's going to fall. I don't think he's going to fall to 5. I don't think he's going to fall to 6. But my 5 is Egbuka. And I love Egbuka. He could be a straight-up monster, a marvel, a legend in this league. Love me some Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka reminds me of JSN meets St. Brown meets a couple different types of players. He is going to be such a threat in the right spot. My concern for Egbuka is that he and Ted McMillan both feel like wide receivers that are lingering in a territory where it's either Carolina, where you become the number 1. So Matthew Golden or McMillan are my predictions to go to Carolina, one of the two. Or you end up being in a crowded wide receiver room like Dallas, like Jaguars. If the Jaguars trade down and let's say Chicago says, give me that 5, I want Jeanty, or the Broncos do this, then all of a sudden the Jaguars at 10, if they swap with the Bears, could take Tet or Golden or Egbuka there instead of taking him here. I think Egbuka could go 14. He could go 12. He could go potentially to the Cardinals. They could do something surprising. They've been whispering about a wide receiver for a while. I think, there's a potential Denver looks to a wide receiver if they don't get the running back they want, but I do think they're going to look at running back here. They could just say, give us Scat, give us Tootin or Scat later and give me the Egbuka player right here. There's a lot of places Egbuka could go, but it is a kind of a dangerous territory to one of these wide receivers getting kind of like cemented into a number 2 role. And how do they escape it? How do you escape being next to CeeDee Lamb? You don't. You just drowned. Okay, so hard to say that this is a situation where, like, in the Chargers could take one of the 2 wide receivers. If Ted McMillan were to fall, and he's kind of falling a lot in a lot of people's viewpoint, even NFL scouts, I've been saying for a while he could be T. Higgins in his best day. If everything goes to plan, he goes to the right spot. He's the number 1. He's getting the targets. Let's say he goes to New England and Drake May turns him into a monster. That could be the case where he becomes the next T. Higgins, which is not a knock on Ted McMillan. It's just a limitation I'm not willing to exceed. That, like guys, Higgins is going in the top 25 overall right now. I think it's a pretty respectable thing, but dare I say, that is his best case scenario. He's a very one-dimensional player. He gets tied up at the line of scrimmage in ways that I don't know that it's going to translate right away at the NFL level. He's not good when he makes contact with a DB or gets caught up anywhere. So there's a lot of concerns for him. If Ted goes to the Chargers or if Egbuka goes to the Chargers, there's a limitation there. There is a limitation there. So at the end of the day, though, I really believe that Egbuka will still be elite to a degree, no matter where he goes. I believe that this could definitely get jostled around after the 4 pick. I think Jeanty, Henderson, Hampton, and Hunter pretty much are my locked and loaded top 4. This is where it gets kind of blender-like once we start tossing around different landing spot scenarios. And for anybody to say this is exactly how it's going to be every time, it's not. Every time I do this mock draft, I move something. And I'm going to have a couple ties here. And not because I'm trying to hedge my bets or get wishy-washy, but because I want people to really know that right now, it's just the way it is. Until we know what's going on, until we know what the volume's going to look like, until we know if somebody's sitting next to a CeeDee Lamb as a wide receiver drafted in this class or not sitting next to CeeDee Lamb, it's going to determine whether they get bumped up a notch or down a notch or stay even. Right now, Egbuka, to me, is the clearest case of being the number 1 most talented wide receiver outside of Travis Hunter, who's by far and away the best wide receiver in this draft class, by far and away the most underrated player in the draft, period. And I'm laughing at people right now that think that Travis Hunter, there's people out there that say this. I'm just going to wait until after the landing spots, and then if he goes somewhere good, I'll rank him. I'll rank them. There are people out there creating content that are not including this man in the rankings. I ask you, I plead to you, don't ever watch someone's content again if their rookie rankings don't include this man as the number 1 wide receiver and they say, I'll come back once a landing spot. I'm a scared Scotty. Scared money don't make money. And on this channel, no, not on my watch. Hunter, Egbuka, do it live. Now we're sitting here at this next spot, and I've got a tie here because landing spot will determine so much. Skattebo is a player I think is getting crapped on because people are scared of him. They're scared that he's going to make them look like a fool. The one thing you'll know in this industry, if you've been in it long enough like me, or you've watched a lot of people create content, is people double down like Donnies all the time. Double down Donnies are everywhere. And when someone makes a claim about somebody, he's not going to be fast enough, he's not good. And so many people put their stamp on this kid, their negative disapproval on this kid walking into his last game before he scored 3 touchdowns, was an absolute phenom, and proved to the world the kind of grit he has. This is Rudy Rudiger of the NFL. People already put their negative approval and lingered it all over the kid. And now, after he explodes, after the combine, his vert, then they look to the 40. They go, hey, I need something negative. I'm feeling really vulnerable right here. I just put a lot out there. And the kid looked electric at his last college football game. He was crazy. He was unbelievable. He looked like a menace out there, just throwing people around. And then all of a sudden, they're looking. His vert's amazing. Oh my God, we're going to be in trouble. I've said so many bad things. I got to double down. How am I going to double down now? Oh, it's 40. His 40. 4.65. Yes, something negative. He's going to suck. He's going to suck. You watch. I was right. Because if I'm not right, that means I was wrong. That's what people do. That's the psychology of fantasy football. That's the double down Donnie. If there's anything I teach you at all, is stop doubling down. Backtrack if you need to. It's not even backtracking. It's adjusting and adapting. Don't let somebody worry you into, oh, he's changing his mind. Who cares? Adjust and adapt. Adjusting and adapting is how you win championships. It's how you...
Let him cook.
It's how you cook. You choose to cook if you want. Everybody's got to choose how they want to cook. You want to cook with a little tiny pan, with a little tiny spatula, or do you want to cook on a flat surface grill? One that you could cook eggs and omelets and pancakes on in the backyard, or do you want a little grate grill where things fall through? You're like, there goes the sausage, honey. And that's what she said. That's you. What do you want to do? You got to decide for yourself. Okay? So Skattebo is a monster. Skattebo is a player that I believe is going to turn heads and make everybody regret the negativity that they brought on themselves by predicting downfall because he ran a 4.65 40 at the combine, which he made up for and ran a 4. I think it was a 4.55. I believe it was like a 4.5, right around 4.5. He's fine. You know who ran the same time, essentially? Arian Foster. How was Arian Foster? Did Arian Foster have enough wiggle? Has anybody punched on some film and watched Skattebo scat down the field and throw people, and literally from a dead stop when he ran into 3 guys and they all fell down, and then he kick-started himself again with good acceleration like a Tesla, just firing off, and he runs another 40 yards. Did somebody catch him? Yeah. Oh, somebody caught Skattebo after a 40-yard scamper at the 1-yard line. Smitty, what'd he do? He punched it in right after. Without going down untouched, runs into the end zone. So what? Took him 2 carries instead of 1. I mean, people are out of their minds. Skattebo's a monster. I just hope he goes to a good spot. There's a real good chance that Kyle Shanahan in the 3rd round, or maybe Scat climbs higher. Remember that football is unpredictable. Remember that, especially the Niners, They took Ricky Pearsall in round 1, where Ricky Pearsall wasn't even close to a 1 grade, round 1 wide receiver grade. So don't think Scat can't go in late 2. Don't think that Scat or Tootin or any of these guys can't slip into a round you're not expecting because somebody told you, another little content creator told you that he's got a 4th grade round grade and he can't go in round 3. This is the NFL, baby. I've been doing this professionally from a scouting perspective on radio, CBS Sports, NBC Sports, breaking down this stuff for 23 straight years before I came to YouTube. We've been doing this longer than anybody, especially the college breakdowns, and I've seen everything. I've seen Cam Newton go from nobody to the number 1 overall pick in a matter of a week. It happens all the time. Scat is the guy. If he goes to Cleveland to be the lone starter, if he goes to Pittsburgh, that's also a nice, interesting landing spot. If he goes to Washington, do it live. He could go to a number of different locations. If he goes somewhere cloudy like San Francisco, we clearly can't rank him here. We're going to have to adjust and adapt. San Francisco really badly likes this kid. They want to replace CMC, and the Niner fan base loves him. I know Shanahan loves him. It's Shanahan's type of running back. It's his type. We know that. And so this is probably going to be one of those players that's volatile based on a landing spot, significantly volatile. And we got to be here to adjust and adapt. Tyler Warren could go maybe to the Jets is where I've got him pegged to go. That would be a great spot. I think he'd be a nice safety blanket for Fields. This guy needs to be, a big focal point of the offense. He's not a guy that's going to, he's either going to pop off or he's going to take longer than expected. I don't think you're going to get anything in between. So where he goes is vital. I've said this from the very beginning of the offseason when people are questioning why I'm not, more high on Warren. I'm high on Warren. I like him. I've got a lot of hope for him, but I'm not ranking him like in the top 3 or 4 dynasty tight ends yet because I need to know where he's going. He needs to go somewhere where he can get fed and become kind of almost a wide receiver in the offense. That's what he does. He's not a guy that's going to play the same as some of these other players that are such good blockers and they run certain routes. There's safety net mechanisms for their quarterback. This is a guy that's all over the field, and he needs to be utilized like that because that's the way he played. That's the way he plays. I think the Jets would be very, very good for him. I think there are a couple other spots that could be good or bad. Where he goes is going to certainly depend. The Niners have talked, at least the Niners circles have talked a lot about the fan bases, about the Niners trying to get their next George Kittle. But that's what the Niners do. Skattebo and Jaylen Warren and Ricky Pearsall, like it fits the bill. We might laugh at it and say they're not taking Tyler Warren at 11. You don't know that. They used their 1st round pick on a player they couldn't even use in Ricky Pearsall last year until the end of the year. You don't know what they're going to do. So very much intrigued by where he goes. And for right now, that's his landing spot until further notice. Or that's his ranking on the rankings anyway, until further notice. I think Matthew Golden and Burden. Oh my God, where's Ted McMillan, Smitty? You gotta be out of your mind. I don't see Ted McMillan anywhere, Smitty. Where's Ted McMillan? Don't worry, he's coming up. This is not a knock on Ted. It's more of a, I like Luther Burden. I think if Luther Burden, who's gaining some steam, lands in a better spot than Ted, and he has the potential to because he could go a lot later to these good teams. Whereas Ted McMillan's going to be forced in one of these other situations. Burden could go somewhere like, Houston, or he could go to Washington, or he could go to Buffalo, or he could go to one of these other landing spots. He could go to Green Bay and be their starting wide receiver, their number 1 wide receiver. Whereas Ted McMillan has this Carolina landing spot, but then he has a lot of ambiguity. He has the Dallas next to CeeDee Lamb landing spot, the Jaguar landing spot, the Colts landing spot with no quarterback. There's a lot of places where he could go that the Chargers, where you got Lab McConkey already there. So Ted's in more danger than Luther Burden of being in a spot I don't like. Just like Travis Hunter isn't, just like Jeanty and Hampton are at almost zero risk of going to a bad spot because of the location of where they're probably going to get drafted. So I like Luther Burden just a wee bit more than Teddy Boy. But I'm not saying I don't like Ted. this is not a negative toward Ted. I think just like when I have Henderson number 2 and people say, oh, why don't you like Hampton? I like Hampton probably more than every person that says that to me. I just happen to like Trey Henderson even more than that. But with this guy, Burden, he's elusive, he's electric. I believe he has a little bit more of that Egbuka feel. He looks like he could play all over the field already. He could plug and play immediately. He's got that vibe. He's got the tenacity. Egbuka invites contact. Luther Burden invites contact. They're both slippery. They're both, I think, potentially Garrett Wilson-like, if you will. Garrett Wilson meets JSN meets, all the St. Brown, all the wide receivers we've talked about. Burden's slippery. He's definitely a guy that I think could rise on everyone's boards based on a landing spot. He could fly up to like 5. He could be the second drafted wide receiver after Hunter if he had the most amazing landing spot. Matthew Golden, this is where if I was going to move someone down, it would be Golden to 8 and Tet to tie with Burden at 7, not Burden. I'm not moving Burden down. Golden is getting a lot of hype and a lot of buzz and a lot of love by the NFL teams and the pundits and the mock drafters and the scouts, and everybody seems to like where Golden is kind of, leveling at right now in terms of evaluation and value. And I just think he's going to find a really nice home. Ted has been dropping. You could say it's whatever, that you disagree with the Ted McMillan fall, but it's happening. And teams are starting to say, I don't know how multidimensional Ted is. Then the news report broke that Ted doesn't watch any football. He doesn't like watching film. He doesn't watch film. And not to mention, just to hear him say, I don't like watching football and I don't like watching film. It screams a negative, and he ruined his draft stock by saying that. I mean, we said that. The common phrase you'd hear was like, he just lost millions of dollars. And he did, because saying that makes a team scared about your hunger for the game. And how can I expect a guy like Ted McMillan, who I know it was a couple years ago, everybody says he could have maybe started to watch more film. Are you going to go off that coulda, woulda, shoulda? And even if he did, a little late to the game to start trying to study the game of football that you're playing. This is a guy that when asked a question, how do you catch those one-handed catches all the time? Have you always been good at that? You know what his response was? His response was wild. His response was alarming to me. His response was, I never tried to catch a ball one-handed until last year. It sounded like somebody that didn't watch film. It sounded like somebody that didn't back up in their own driveway and go 5, 4, Jordan takes a step to the right, palms the ball, fakes that, and shoots. That's how you grow up. You watch your heroes. You emulate them. You take some of their tools and put them on your tool belt. If anybody thinks that's not one reason why Tet gets manhandled at the line of scrimmage or why there aren't concerns about his game, it's because he doesn't watch. This is all crazy to me. It doesn't matter, Kingslayer, how long the interview was. You keep saying that. Do you have evidence of how much he's improved in desire to watch film? No, you don't. You have nothing. I have evidence. You have zero. So it's wild, man. It's wild that this guy does not want to watch football and does not like watching film. I'm staying away from that. Ted McMillan, to this degree. You start getting to this territory, like I said, for anybody that thinks I hate Ted McMillan, I don't hate him, but when we're evaluating talent, he's got to fall. That's why he falls here. Does he have a max ceiling value of T. Higgins? Yes, if he goes to the exact right spot and develops. And remember my Bucky example. Whenever even I'm being negative on a player, remember my Bucky example. Remember my Tom Brady example. Remember my Kurt Warner example. Remember my Kyron Williams example, my Arian Foster example. You can do a lot in the NFL once you get there. You can mature, you can grow, you can become a different player. That option's always available. That should always be in your mind. Could Ted McMillan become a top 5 wide receiver someday? He certainly could, but as a prospect, our job here is to evaluate what he is right now. JJ was number 4, 5, or 6 overall rookie material coming into his rookie draft. And everybody drafted JJ at 4, 5, and 6 in the rookie-only drafts. He did not go 1. He did not go 2. He did not go 3. He did not go 4. Bucky Irving was a 27 overall drafted rookie ADP wise. When you reflect on last year's ADP, he was drafted 27 overall in rookie only drafts. Did everybody miss something? No, because as a prospect, there was some concerns. When you get to the NFL, sometimes guys just click. They blossom. They get with the right coach. It all goes to plan. So Ted has that ability. It's just there's a lot of reasons to say as a prospect, he can't be ranked higher than these guys. As a prospect, you can have hope. You can have hope. Okay, someone says, Smitty, can you let me see who's behind Burden? If you don't know who that is, then you don't deserve to know who's behind Burden. What other wide receiver starts with the G-O? You know what I'm saying? Zach, I'll let you know. Zach, I appreciate you. It's Matthew Golden, pal. Matthew Golden. There you go. Zach, there you go. Gold. The gold rush. All right. Ted McMillan could get bumped down, though. I'll just tell you that right now. Dylan Sampson goes to Washington. Bye, Ted. Ted, go hold Dylan Sampson's water. So electric. So elusive. If he goes to Washington, if he goes to Denver, if he goes to Minnesota, for the long term, he climbs the board for me tremendously. He goes over Ted no matter where Ted goes. If Sampson's in Washington and Ted's in, I don't know, let's just put him in Dallas. Or Ted in New England versus Sampson in Washington as the future starter. Give me Sampson all day long. Burden in, let's say, Dallas versus Ted in New England. Now that becomes a huge debate where Ted could win that argument. So landing spot, this is why we're doing a what if show. Landing spot can 100% Bucky watch his film. You bet your bottom dollar Bucky watches film. Look, this film watching thing's a big deal. For those that want to defend it, you know what? Like Slayer, no offense. You know why people are defending it? And saying, oh, it's a couple years ago, it's fine. A couple years ago, maybe. We don't even know the exact date of it. But a couple years ago, let's pretend it was exactly 2 years ago. What evidence do you have that he's changed? None. You're just saying because it was a couple years ago, everything should be fine. Hold your breath, close your eyes, and jump off. Hopefully the cliff's not too deep. That's not a way to look at it. He's a prospect right now. We're doing prospect rankings. Okay, so McMillan, Sampson, love Samsonite, the briefcase, we love him. The briefcase could go in a number of different places. If he doesn't go somewhere that's conducive to rising up and becoming a star, then Dylan Sampson could fall too. So understand that. This next guy, Judkins, could do the same thing. I'm going to put Judkins and Sampson because their draft capital seems to be looking really good right now. I think teams are very interested in Sampson and Judkins. I think you have both these guys very, very likely to be considered, not a lock because all it takes is a team to pass, but considered to be in a lone starter role. And so for that reason, they rank number 9, and I like both of them. This next guy, Tootin, Bashal Tootin, if he goes to Washington to start, if he goes to Houston, then you got a little bit of a 2025, potential dip in value a little bit or a little waiting game, but it's a great long-term spot. Minnesota will be the same thing. A little bit of hold your breath and wait, but once he gets in there, he's going to fire off. So Tootin, if he's starting in Washington, Judkins is in Pittsburgh, give me Tootin all day long. Tootin in Washington versus Dylan Sampson in Houston, I'd rather have Tootin in Washington. So these are very, very close players that landing spot's going to determine Sampson, Judkins, and Tootin. And all three of them could move ahead or landing spot. The running back that has a good landing spot will move ahead of McMillan, in my view. Okay, so there's that right there. We got Caleb Johnson. I don't even like this value. And again, for those that missed the beginning, I'm not ranking a quarterback in here. This is a 1 QB. If this is a super flex, you'd have Cam Ward and Shador kind of in this 1.7 to 1.8. Milroe, I like as much as any of the quarterbacks if he's in the right spot, but you probably put him at like 10, 11, 12. That's it. Super flex. Not 1 QB. None of the QBs deserve to go over these potential home run hitters. This is the deepest the top 12 group has ever been. And we got a couple ties here. So we're talking about 15 guys that are ranking higher than any one single quarterback in a 1 QB league. And if you're so hard off on quarterback, that's your problem, not my problem. I'm not going to force a quarterback because you did a shoddy job of drafting your QBs. No QBs belong. in the top 12. And just another thing to say, this goes to show how good the class is when we're having a little bit of debating about McMillan, who is still a very good player. Like I said, has the T. Higgins potential, but when you're arguing all these monsters and you're talking about Tootin over McMillan, if he's in a great spot, this is a great problem to have. And Johnson, I like him a lot, tested very bad. There's a lot of other data that concerns me. I just don't see a very dynamic player. So he sits at 11, and these next two are going to make you shart in your pants. These next two we've talked about a lot. We've talked about a lot on our Patreon. If you've missed the Patreon is right here. Link is being dropped in the live chat right now. I'm going to pin the link in the description, or in the live chat. It's in the description. I'm going to pin the link to the Patreon right now. This is where we talk football 365. So make sure you get on over to the Patreon. 365 live chat room. 365, 24/7, always live. When we're done with live stream, a lot of the people in the live stream just go straight over to the Patreon and continue the conversation live. Go check it out. Do it live. This number, I'm going to do a tie here. My last tie at 12. Does anybody have a prediction of who these two guys are going to be? I like Trey Harris a lot. It's not Trey Harris, but I like Trey Harris. If he lands in a good spot, he clearly could climb into the top 9. That's the thing about these landing spots. That's why we did this what if show. Who's vulnerable? Who's most vulnerable to a landing spot, change, or a bad landing spot? Is anybody immune to a bad landing spot? Who am I putting here at 12? Anybody have a guess? Travis knows, so Travis, you don't say. Make a prediction. And I got 2 super chats here. I got BBQ dropping 2. BBQ, I'm going to answer these right after $20 holler. You straight up monster. I'll answer these as soon as I'm done here with the 12 spot. But does anybody have a guess? Sandu says Tootin. Well, he's at 10, so I'm probably not putting him there. Sandu, open your eyes. Tootin's right there. He's Tootin just fine at 10 overall. Who's my 12? I'll tell you who. This is kind of a bold statement. This is not, you don't even need to draft either one of these guys here, but I like RJ Harvey. He was a very, very close consideration. RJ Harvey's like literally next. Savion Williams and Kyle Williams, as when I told Travis about it, he called them the Williams brothers. The Williams bros at the 12 spot. Savion Williams is a Deebo Samuel. He's coined as the next Deebo Samuel by so many people already, and he's still flying in way under the radar. He didn't have 1,000-yard season. Let me put his stats up. This guy looks unbelievable when you look at his film. He looks like a bigger, stronger Deebo Samuel. And the Niners community is all over him because of the consistencies between the two, styles of play. But Savion is a monster, a straight up monster. And let me put up his stats here. He only had 611 yards receiving last year. And usually it's really hard to crack my top 12, especially even being like close to a top potential 15 or top 5-6 wide receiver without having 1,000-yard season is very rare for me. But remember, Deebo didn't either. Deebo came out of college with the same kind of line. But this guy had 611 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. But he had 51 carries. They used him a ton at RB. 51 carries, 322, and 6 rushing touchdowns. No fumbles, never fumbled the ball. 6 rushing touchdowns, 322. This is a straight up fright train when he gets to the football. And if you watch, if you spend any time watching his film, go to YouTube and just after the show, type in Savion Williams. He's such a dangerous player. He's going to need the right coach. This is a bold ranking. I don't know that you got to spend anywhere near the 12 overall pick on him now. But if he goes somewhere amazing and everybody starts hyping him up, you're going to be spending a 12 overall. So think of this show as kind of a head of the curve, preemptive measure type of content for you right now. Savion Williams, in the right hands, would become the next Deebo Samuel. Savion Williams in the right hands would become what Jaden Reed should have become and should be still currently in Green Bay. But Green Bay doesn't know how to use him. I'm starting to think Green Bay is going to go downhill. I'm starting to think Green Bay doesn't know how to figure out what they have and how to use wide receivers and how to develop Jordan Love. They know how to run the ball. They were smart in acquiring Jacobs. There's a lot of good here. Coach, I think they have good coaching, but at the end of the day, Jordan Love is regressing. And the fact that they haven't, and maybe they proved my concerns to be valid and they address them, and then I'm okay. I'm feeling a lot better by drafting an elite wide receiver. But if Green Bay walks out of round 1 without a wide receiver, I don't know that Jordan Love is going to work out. It's a real concern to me. So, love Savion Williams. Kyle Williams is also a really, really good receiver. Check out some film on him. Those would be my bold predictions based on landing spot. If Kyle Williams goes somewhere electric, then Kyle Williams, let me put his stats up so you guys can see him. If Kyle Williams goes somewhere electric, the Washington State wide receiver who's 6'8", he's only about 190 pounds, or 6'8", 6'0", only about 190 pounds. Kind of a, I don't want to say smaller guy because, Jamar Chase is only 6'1", but 6 foot, 190. He just needs to gain a little bit of weight and then he's fine. And then you don't even look at him and say that's a smaller wide receiver. I don't think you'd even, if you saw him in an NFL uniform, you probably wouldn't even think he's a lighter guy. 1198, 70 receptions, 14 touchdowns, had a remarkable year last year. And the years prior, he had some decent touchdown production, 6, 5, 2, 2. A little bit, I don't want to say old, but he's a little bit older given that he played essentially the 5 years. But I really like both these Williams brothers. They look phenomenal and they could be very sneaky wide receivers. And if you're drafting in that 2-3 turn, or the 1-2 turn area, or 2.4, 2.5, these are two very good prospects to keep an eye on. And I get asked that question a lot. Hey, Smitty, I'm at 2.3. Who do I target? You're going to be looking at Savion Williams. You're going to be looking at Savion Williams. You'd be counting thanking your lucky stars if a Samson or a Tootin was there. But you're going to be looking at Savion Williams and Kyle Williams. They're very, very good. You'd also want to look at Devin Neal. You'd also want to look at probably other players that come to mind. Let me pull up my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings where you can find all your bold predictions, your rankings, your trade calculators. That's what I've been doing. Isaiah Bond, Jaden Higgins. Isaiah Bond, Jaden Higgins, and Trey Harris all deserve to be in this consideration. And a good landing spot for Trey Harris moves him to 9 overall. A great landing spot for Isaiah Bond, who's going through a lot of potential, downtick in value and legal troubles right now. If a team believes in him and they give him the benefit of the doubt, Isaiah Bond in the right spot could be number 9 overall. Jaden Higgins in the right spot could be number 9 overall. So understand and keep in mind, and I'll even put their names on screen because I don't want to leave this live stream without you guys understanding those 3 wide receivers are also very, very much in the mix for being a top 10 to 12 wide receiver. So let me put their names up on screen. So you got Jaden Higgins, let's move McMillan up just a little bit. Higgins, we had Burden, or no, I'm not Burden. Who do we say? We had Higgins, Bond, and Trey Harris. Higgins, Bond, and Harris. Those guys need to be on this list because you need to know their names. You need to be watching their landing spots. Any one of these guys, Harris especially, is a really, really intriguing player that I think a lot of teams do like. So Harris and Bond. Bond was on his way, and then the legal troubles hit. I almost like Bond's game more than I like Matthew Golden's game. And you can laugh at me all you want, but if Bond didn't have these legal troubles right now, I think he'd be climbing up boards. But maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe he's got legal troubles. Maybe the KC Chiefs say, hey, hold on a second. Hey, Veach, this is Andy Reid. I heard that Bond's in trouble. Can we bond him out and put him in the same wide receiver room as Rashee Rice? And yeah, Rashee Rice. Yep, do it live. Yep, Worthy, Rice, and Bond. Put him in a vehicle, get him a driver, and drive him over to the facility right now. That might be what's going down. BBQ with the $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
My boy BBQ doing it live Let's see here. Go over to that video if you haven't seen that already. That video is a fantastic show, by the way. Okay. If you play football at any level and you don't watch it, this is a major red flag for me. Talent alone only gets you so far. You have to love the ball, love ball like Smitty loves grinding. 20. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a good point. Like, I've actually talked to content creators at things, events I've gone to, and I've talked to people that don't even love doing what they do. Like, I'm like, hey man, when are you starting your rookie content? They're like, I don't know, man. I just, I won't say any names, but there's people I know that I've talked to. They're like, they hate doing their job. They hate doing videos. So I could do it for the money, and I started it and I didn't plan to do it, and then it just took off. And it's like those are the people you're taking advice from. Like, how would you feel if you found out I didn't like football and I didn't like doing what I do? Does anybody think I'd give the best advice? Would you follow somebody into battle that didn't like or study the battle or the techniques that lead you into war? Like you want to follow somebody that is gung-ho about what they do. How many people would love watching my show even more if they found out I didn't like what I do? I love what I do. You guys know I love what I do. I love going live every moment. That's what makes, I think, this channel so good. But I don't understand if you don't love watching football. Granted, he loves to play it, but I agree with BBQ, and this has been my stance all along. If he doesn't watch football, how can he know some of the things that somebody that studies other players, their idols, have been watching this guy forever? How does he do that? How does he make that step? There's no way Ted McMillan is on the same page as everybody else in all these different ins and outs of the game because he hasn't watched it. He hasn't said, I'm going to steal that from that guy. I'm going to learn how to do that. You can't be the best at a position if you don't know all the ins and outs of it. It's wild to me that people are defending Ted McMillan not watching film. I don't get it, especially not watching football. Not watching football. Skattebo isn't slow. He's just looking for guys to run over. Watch his game speed, not shorts and cleat speed. Yeah, and also on that, like, your start a lot of the time if you're a bad starting, down in a 3-point stance, some guys are like, I'm faster if I'm just standing upright, but it looks embarrassing that you don't know how to do a 3-point stance. So guys will do it. They'll run slow. Definitely feel like, let people doubt Skattebo. It really is doubling down, BBQ. It's people that have already doubted Skattebo. They've already doubted him. Let's see here. Smitty, he says he doesn't like to, it doesn't mean he doesn't watch film. Sandu, you don't know what you're talking about on this. I'm sorry you don't, because he did say he doesn't watch film. He says, I don't even watch it. Sometimes he goes, the wide receiver coaches make us look at film, watch film, but he doesn't watch film. He sits in there with everybody else while film's going on. He doesn't sit down and watch film himself. He doesn't. He said he doesn't. So that's actually been proven already. So Sandu, wrong. Absolutely wrong on that. I appreciate you, but wrong.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
All right, real quickly, dial in to the show. I'm going to take 2 phone calls, 3 phone calls, then we're out of here. I'll probably be back tonight.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Make sure you watch this rookie running back video where I predicted the Bears probably draft 2 of the bigger name running backs. I mean, one could be Tootin, the other could be Hampton. One could be Hampton, one could maybe be Judkins if he fell. So get over there and watch that. And then we got a $20 super chat from Zach coming in strong. Zach to the mother freaking moon. We got BBQ dropping multiple. We got Zach dropping
super chat alert.
And he says, just contributing. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, pal. Zach, I appreciate you dropping the 20 wad. Zach to the moon. Zach, let me send you to Jupiter, actually.
To Jupiter.
Hope you brought your coat, young man. It's cold up in there. and there's nowhere to land. It's a gas planet, so I'm really sorry about that. Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty?
What's up?
Yeah, I was putting in the chat earlier. I think New England possibly could throw a wrench in everything. They could be the Atlanta Falcons of last year.
Yeah.
I think they might take Jeanty.
You think they'll take Jeanty?
Yep.
Sorry.
Because Vrabel, he had Henry. He's used to big running backs. He knows his running backs. And Jeanty is a generational running back, just like Henry. You don't think he's going to pass on the opportunity to get him?
I don't know. I don't. Right now, I'm not getting the vibe that Jeanty's going anywhere but 6, but it's certainly in the cards. Let me merge these calls. Hold on 1 second, Ron. Let me see. Let me get him in here. Let me get Kyrie Boston in here. 1 second, fellas. Okay, sorry, I had to merge those calls. I'm not saying it's impossible, Ron. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying the vibe right now, I'm not hearing a single thing about Jeanty going any higher than 6. And if anybody wants to get him, they got to trade into this five spot. But we've seen Cam Newton in the 11th hour climb to number 1 overall. Jeanty could go number 2 to the Cleveland Browns for all we know. But I think Jeanty should be going 1. He should be going 1 overall. The Titans should be taking him. And if he's on the clock, when the Browns are on the clock, they should be taking him. Hunter as he's as dynamic. You could argue that. But what is that? What is that? Is that Kyrie Boston?
Well, my fault.
What are you doing?
With you, Smitty.
What are you doing breathing in the phone line like that loud? I think you do that on purpose so you can get interjected into the conversation quicker. Is what
No.
I
was agreeing with you. What you just said. Sometimes I had to breathe right there. That was some good information. I appreciate you.
By the way,
that.
I've got my new Get Bucky shirt. This is the emoji in the live chat. You can find that in my YouTube store. Go to the main, my main YouTube page. And then click on, I think is it store? Yeah, I think it's called store or shop. I think it's called store or shop. Click on that tab. So as home, videos, live streams or whatever, click on shop or store. You can get your Bucky on. This is the emoji. Look at it. Drop the emoji. You guys can see the emoji in the live chat right now. Brian just dropped it. This is my new favorite shirt now. This is the one I'm going to wear as much as I can. Go ahead, Kyrie, since you rudely interrupted Ron.
I'm going to be honest with you. I started off playing football at running back, so every time that you talk about running backs, like, I just get a little over emotional because that's what I played in high school. That's what I played in middle school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be like, damn, running backs. I'm a little biased towards running backs. I'll be honest with you. So sometimes when I just made that little breath because I was feeling what you were saying about Jeanty right there. I was like, damn.
Oh,
man,
Ron's not wrong. Ron's not wrong. He should go. He should go 1. He should go 1.
I was really feeling that.
He should already be on a team.
Like number 1. I would like to see that. I would like to see a running back go number 1 in the draft.
But what I'm trying to tell Ron is he's not wrong that he should go wrong. I just haven't heard that we're going to see him go to New England. We're going to see him. I mean, Travis, have you heard? You're a New England fan, and
I would like him to go to New England. That's my main win.
Hold on, Kyrie Boston. Hold on 1 second. Travis, are you hearing anything? Because I'm sure you listen to a lot of local Patriot stuff, and is there even a hint or scent of Jeanty going?
Yep. Yeah, a little bit. There's two ways of thought. One group of people think there's no way that they're going to do it. Another group is, one, obviously this Colton Miller stuff with the Raiders, if he becomes available for trade and they could get it. Or if they think they can get their tackle with pick 38 or trading back into the first, then they do think Jeanty becomes a possibility. I think it's still like a 10% type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's it's possible, Ron.
Definitely.
It's possible.
It's talked about, it's possible.
Like a 10%.
Funny is we never saw it coming from Atlanta that they were going to take Penix. I mean, that totally shocked all of us, right? And so when you're going to do something,
we kicked it around.
Kind of like, right? Trump says, why do people announce what they're going to do before they do it? So why announce it? Why even keep it under wraps? then you just surprise everybody and throw a wrench.
But what usually, yeah, no, I agree with you. What usually triggers it are like visits, and you sometimes can, you could not do any of the extra visits and lifts under the hood to just be like, we already know we want them, so let's not let anybody know. Let's just play it cool. There have actually been teams that have had very little communication with the player they drafted in the top 3 or 4 to do that very thing. So it's not impossible. And again, I give it like a 10% chance. You're not wrong. Every team here has to be considering Jeanty. Has to be. Like, the Titans had to have had a conversation about it already. They've already locked into Ward. But the Browns have had to have a Jeanty conversation. The question is, Hunter's going to be too of a sure thing for them, I think. But you never know. The Browns could take Jeanty. You never know. The Giants could take him. We've had a lot of people, say that lately, that they botched Barkley so bad they got to, rejuvenate that rushing attack and redeem themselves. They got to trade the shaggin' wagon in for the motorcycle, and just thought they could.
Oh God!
What is going on, Kyrie Boston? You gotta mute that. You gotta mute that, bro. You gotta mute that. You're stopping the show dead in its tracks. I'm literally moving and grooving. I'm moving and grooving, and you're just breathing into the phone, and I don't know what in the hell you're doing over there. All right, so
I took it off my face and I put it on my knee.
You didn't.
And then I laughed.
You talk through your.
I laughed.
We hear
from my face. It was from my knee.
We hear more clearly through your knee than when you have the phone up to your face. Okay? It was louder. So we look. Pull the phone, Kyrie. Pull the phone away.
I tried not to laugh.
The Patriots.
I took it off my face and I put it on my knee.
I had it. He won't stop. He won't stop. He doesn't even hear me. He doesn't even hear me. Patriots.
He got the X's anyway.
Yeah.
He's like Denny's brother.
Yeah. Well, actually, he didn't get. He did get 3 in a row. You got Kyrie Boston. If you're listening right now, you got 3 X's in a row, which means you can't call back in today, or this show. You can call back tonight, but rules are rules. You cannot call back in tonight, or this show.
Oh, that's my prediction. We'll see if it happens or not. It'd be cool. This is the fun part about the draft.
It's fun.
Like, stuff like that can happen. So
like,
I just have a feeling that it could.
I mean, if I flipped a coin,
I'm copying. I got I don't know if there's anybody that's Catholic. Judy was Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but everybody's saying to light a candle because I got about 6 hours until the year. It's been a year.
Oh,
actually, it's weird because
it's Ron's wife. Oh, yes.
Yep.
Prayers up for Ron.
It's on Easter.
Yeah.
So they're telling me to light a candle, and I'm not. I know.
Yeah, I got you.
But I don't like what you do as far as how long do you keep a candle lit and all that other stuff. I'm not sure. If anybody out there is Catholic and knows, let me know. But I'm going to get out of here. I love you guys. Hey, Travis, I really am hoping for you. I'd love to see you guys get Jet.
Oh, God. It hung up. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get back to that conversation. Damn it. I might need you guys to call back in. Kyrie Boston kept calling, and I hit the button on accident. Dial back in, guys. Ron, dial back in if you want to continue saying what you're saying. Kyrie, stop calling. You've already got 3 X's. You get 3 X's like that, you can't call back in the rest of the show. You can call in tonight's show. We'll be live for about midnight Eastern, but Kyrie, you can't call in anymore. Let me see if I can get Ron. Call back in, Ron. And I don't know who else is on the phone line, damn it. Every once in a while, my phone line glitches. Ron, call back in if you want to finish what you're saying, but prayers up to Ron. I don't know anything about candle lighting or anything. All I can do is standing ovations and mashed potatoes. if that helps, let me know. Past that, I don't know.
Yeah. I'd say he should just do whatever feels right.
Yeah.
Do what works for him.
Any final thoughts around the show today?
Yeah, I mean, Jeanty really, it is a good point Ron brings up, and we've talked about a little bit that anyone in the top from 2 to 5 could easily take him, and really from 2 to 2 to 7, 2 to 9. So it's however things fall, you don't know.
Ron, call back in if you want to
And then-
finish your sentence. If not, you're good. But yeah, anybody could. I mean, anybody could take Jeanty. Everybody should be taking Jeanty. So Ron's not wrong. 10% chance I'd give it right now based on what we know that the Patriots or the Giants. Giants maybe a little bit more. 15% chance the Giants could take Jeanty. 10% the Patriots would take him. But yeah, you flip a coin 10 times as one time. Like certainly possible, but it feels like almost a 95% lock that the Raiders will take him if he's there. It feels like probably something along the lines of I would say a 99.999%, so 99.99% that if the Saints had Jeanty on the board, they would take him. The Bears have to trade up to get him. It almost feels like almost a 0% chance that the Bears can get him at 10. So yeah, and that hype alone drives them up to a more likelihood of the Giants maybe looking at it because of the, everybody else likes him. We must like him then, Yeah. Any final thoughts, Travis, on that? On anything else? I got to go cook some food.
So yeah, just quick one guy I think that could creep into that top 12 is Loveland, depending on where he lands, just because he is a good pass catcher, but. One of the biggest takeaways, and I agree with it, is not having a quarterback on that top 12. Just because, like you've mentioned, Shedeur, he needs work. He needs the right place. He's not a perfect finished product yet. And Ward, who's very talented, is still prone to mistakes. And going to Tennessee is such a questionable spot the way they've been the past few years. So, I think you're. Especially in a quarterback, like you said, you're better off taking these guys on the board.
Anybody taking a quarterback in the top 12 of their 1 QB draft, crap the bed at quarterback, and that's why you're forcing it. They're not worth it. It's not that they're not worth it maybe in another draft, even the same quarterbacks in another draft, but in this particular draft with all of these RBs and, the at least one tight end, maybe 2 tight ends, the wide receiver still being good enough to sprinkle in over those quarterbacks. Man, I don't know how. I could literally put 12 running backs if I want. Let's see, Jeanty, Henderson, Hampton, Hunt. Let's see, except for Hunter. We'll leave Hunter there. Let's say, beside from Hunter, I put Scat, Judkins, Sampson, Johnson, Tootin, like Neal, Jarquez. Like you could put literally 12 RBs on here ahead of the quarterbacks. I could draft 12 RBs before I draft a quarterback. It's wild, man. That's wild. And the 12th one could be really good. It could be really good. It could be a top 15 running back. That's how crazy this running back class is. All right, Travis.
That's the one last thing I'll say. Yeah, I was just going to say quick with running backs, take advantage of it this year with those, second-round picks, third-round picks if you have them, because this is like, I know running back is coming back in a way, but also it's the, remainder of the COVID guys that have the extra years in college and stuff. So we might not see another class like this where there's 20 deep on the list. So don't be afraid to grab a few running backs if you have to pick.
All right, man. I'll see you
Thanks,
tonight.
Benny. I'll talk to you later.
All right, we got one more caller here. Kyrie Boston, don't feel bad about getting X'd off the phone line. It happens. You get 3 X's in a row. You can't call back for the remainder of the show. You can call in. Oh, is this Kyrie Boston?
I appreciate you, though. Yeah, I appreciate you, though, Smitty, because the
Why you
reason why I
calling in
X'd off the show is because I love your show so
Why
much.
you calling in from another phone
you
line?
had to X me off because I wasn't able to cover up the speaker. I covered up the phone, but I didn't cover up the speaker part.
This guy's sneaking in with another phone.
On the last thing, so you got mad at me. I understand.
No,
I'm not hating on
I
you.
didn't get mad.
I appreciate
I didn't
you.
get
though.
mad at you. I just couldn't talk. You kept talking over me and laughing over me, and the audience put 3 X's in the live chat. And when 3 X's go, you get kicked off. I have no control over that. That's an audience-driven feature, and for that
I didn't know that.
For that
I
reason,
did not know that.
So just keep mindful when you hear me talking and you just keep rambling over me. The audience is going to say, "I can't even hear what Smitty's saying." But hey, you can call in tonight's show. It restarts. But on that note, you can't call in right now. You're off. All right, I'm out of here anyway. Kyrie Boston, appreciate you. Thank you to my super chatters. We'll be live later tonight. We appreciate that $20 hauler from BBQ, the $20 hauler from Zach. BBQ dropping another super chat. You guys absolutely rock. See you tonight.